Hello guys, how's it going? My name is Dalaran. The PTR patch 9.1 came with a few updates. While not all the critical updates are on there right now, one of the updates that is available is a leveling experience that's different for alt characters. The idea is to make this a little bit more alt friendly while also helping some of those alts catch up to where your main character is and make it much easier. Certain grinds or certain quest objectives have been made easier and also add more ways for daily content in order to gain experience. In today's video, I want to go over my experience of having an alt character, fresh start, Shadowlands leveling, and show you exactly what it looks like for a new character on PTR right now. Which aspects of it are faster, which aspects of it are different, and what is all new for a brand new alt character when leveling through Shadowlands. Like every other alt, you start out in Stormwind or Orgrimmar to talk to Morgraine and then get transported into the Maw to start the intro to Shadowlands, but this time on PTR, you can actually skip it, just talking to Morgraine instead of taking the portal. If you've done it before on a character, you will be able to skip it in 9.1. Technically, the Maw introductory does give you a level worth of experience, but if you've done it way too many times or don't really care, you finally have the skip, and having that player agency added into the game I think is a good thing. For this video, we decided to go with Threads of Fate. I don't really like replaying the storyline, and I much prefer doing Threads of Fate, where I can just do some dailies, bonus objectives, and also a lot of the Threads of Fate stuff, when it comes to questing, has been changed quite a bit in patch 9.1. Talinara, which will be a NPC you'll keep coming back to while you're leveling to level 60, now has extra bonus objectives for you to do. On PTR, besides unlocking the zones of Maldraxxus, Bastion, Arderweald, Ravensdrath, helping out all those covenants with their own activities, now you can go visit Torghast as well as start doing battlegrounds as part of your daily experience rewards. The first thing we did is head out into open world. At the time, I had a buddy of mine testing out the leveling experience in the PTR, and he said that the bonus objectives are now super quick and reward you a ton of experience as well as renown. So that was the first thing we wanted to do. Now, when a buddy of mine said that the bar for the bonus objectives goes by really quickly, I didn't expect it to be that quick. I mean, we slain 4 mobs at the start of the area. I interacted with a Hydra with a quest item to free some of the Night Fae from its belly, and slain a Stalker, and already we're sitting at over 50% completion. Like, to give you an example of the live servers versus the PTR servers, on live, if you interact with one of the pinecons on the ground, it gives you like 1 or 2%. On PTR, that pinecone will give you like 5 or 6%, which makes the actual bonus objective go by quicker. And it's also a lot more fun because it feels that every one of your single actions influences that bar so much more, and it definitely takes the grindiness of the bonus objectives that are just not super appealing completely out of the game. And for finishing the bonus objective, you actually get decent XP, gear, as well as renown. So that's already the first big update we have for Threads of Fate leveling in Shadowlands. Doing the bonus objectives became easier because you can fill up the bar quicker. So the bonus objectives don't feel nearly as grindy. Where right now on live servers, I don't really do them. I actually avoid them completely if I don't have to do them. The amount of work that you have to put in for the experience and the rewards is just not worth. It's very time consuming and feels grindy, and by the time you're done, the experience that it gives you and the rewards is just not really worth. You could have literally, in the time you've done the bonus objectives, done some side quests and gotten more value out of that than doing the bonus objective altogether. But on PTR, even little things like slaying a single mob or a pack of mobs, interacting with a few items, really does get the progress bar moving. And at the end of that progress bar, not only do you get actual decent experience, you also do it fairly quickly, so then the experience for the time committed feels a lot better. The gear you get from it is actually pretty sizable, and I was able to replace the gear that I was currently wearing with the bonus objectives gear pretty regularly. And also renown. Your character is able to kickstart and start getting a lot more renown way quicker. We're still yet to see what exactly Blizzard is going to do with renown, with some of the alt-friendly benefits and covenant switching and renown caps that will be coming available in the future patches of PTR. But as of right now, being able to catch up renown on your alt character while you're leveling is great, because this way you're able to at least kickstart your covenant campaign. You're able to kickstart some of the different rewards and soul binds for that character. There's absolutely nothing bad about it, and it makes these world objectives feel a lot more impactful because renown is kind of like the player power progression system, and being able to work towards that player power progression early while you're questing just feels satisfying. I should note though, some of the bonus objectives didn't give me renown while others did. I don't really know if it's a chance to gain renown or certain objectives, specific ones, are guaranteed to give renown while others don't. So it's really hard to tell, and I think there'll be more information about it in the future, hopefully. But the bonus objectives went by really quickly. They gave a lot of XP, the rewards were fantastic, and the renown on top of it just felt like your character was able to catch up to your mains much faster. Another thing that's different is when we first zoned into Ardenweald, I noticed that the quest to help out the Night Fate to fill the bar for this region is a little different. It now rewards you anima, so that's great for any alt characters that are looking to dive into a different covenant, and that anima will help you kickstart maybe some of the upgrades or some of the cosmetics that you might be able to buy. But it still looks like they do scale with your level, and they will still reward you a quarter of a level. So I think you'll still do the strategy of make sure you fill that bar for every single covenant, wait until level 59, then fly to every one of the Covenant turn-in locations and turn it in, basically giving you a free level 59 just from 4 zone quests. We decided to do every bonus objectives on the map because 1, they go by so quickly, 2nd, they reward renown, and 3rd, they're actually pretty good for experience. After clearing every bonus objective for all the 4 Covenant zones, we got 2 full levels, as well as gear for questing that actually was decent and scaled with our level, as well as about 20 renown by the end of it. This bonus objective change, I would say, is my all-time favorite. I mean, it's been a while since I've done bonus objectives because on live, they're not really worth the time investment. But on PTR, they are going to be mandatory and necessary. 1, they reward renown, which means your character can catch up quicker. 2nd, you can finish them so much faster than ever before, so you really can get through them pretty easily. 3rd, the gear and the experience they reward you feels like worth for the time commitment just for finishing these bonus objectives. And the only thing I wish we had more is more bonus objectives. The rest of the content out in the open world in comparison just doesn't really feel nearly as good. World quests, I feel like in comparison don't reward nearly the same amount of experience, and they are a little bit longer to do in comparison to the BFA version of World Quest or even the Legion ones. The Shadowlands ones are a little bit more involved, where in live servers, doing a World Quest while leveling is better than a bonus objective. Now in PTR, it's kind of reversed. I would rather just do bonus objectives and avoid World Quests. So maybe they could buff the amount of experience you gain per World Quest, or find a way to finish them quicker. Because outside of that, there's side quests, and they are great for XP out in the open world, but I've already leveled 10 other characters besides my rogue, and I've done every single side quest, and after the 10th time of doing them, they do feel pretty boring. This is where people default to the dungeon spam meta for faster dungeon gains or faster experience gains overall, and making the world feel a little bit more inhabitable by making rewards better, I think is a good change. Let's shift gears to Torghast. In Torghast now, there's going to be a broker that gives you a quest. This looks like a daily quest for bonus experience for the player XP, as well as Soul Ash. Next to him is the box of many things, and in front of him is a Wayfinder. Wayfinder gives you 2 wings of Torghast for you to access, and the quest requires you to complete 2 wings all the way through. The different sections of Torghast weren't super difficult. It doesn't seem that they're really throwing you into the most challenging version of Torghast, which is fine for a fresh new character. And the mobs do scale with you, so as you go up in level, they will also scale up with you. That will mean that towards the tail end of your quest experience, gear is going to become important, and potentially could slow down how fast you clear these rooms as you get into level 57, 58, and 59. The mobs in Torghast do give experience, but it's actually a very small amount of experience. We went the route of trying to clear every single mob and slaying every single enemy inside of the wings of Torghast, and even then we didn't really get a lot of XP. This means that if you are going to be doing Torghast runs in 9.1.5, the strategy will probably end up being where you'll want to skip to the door boss as soon as possible, and then beeline to the final boss as quickly as you can, because slaying all the mobs and pull them together just doesn't reward you that much XP, and it's not really worth your time. I suggest Blizzard buff the amount of XP killing a single mob inside of Torghast gives you, maybe like 10 times the experience. Because if you make pulling all the mobs and doing full clears for rooms more enticing, more players are going to go for AoE Torghast powers, and more players can choose how they want to play Torghast. Do you want to go for a big AoE build with all the powers that give you the most AoE damage, or do you want to go for the fast run, just kill the final boss and get out of there quickly? Different players can choose how they want to play Torghast, and I think, again, player agency would be good in this regard. When we reach the final boss does give you Soul Ash at the end of your run, He doesn't give too much soul ash, but he does give a little bit, and over time doing Torghast runs, you will be able to get a little bit of soul ash to at least craft your rank 1 legendary as soon as you hit max level. They also do give renown, but not a guarantee, as well as a little bit of knowledge for the box of many things, but not too much. And you can flawless these runs if you want to. After getting done with both of our wings, we turn the quest in to the broker, and he gives us a little bit of player experience as well as soul ash on the side. I like the idea of a daily Torghast quest in our alts. Giving players more to do besides dungeon spamming and world content for experience is a great idea, although I think this quest as well as the Torghast experience for alts could be more improved. I think it's good to give players a way to start gaining soul ash as well as the tower knowledge for box of many things early. So once you hit max level, you should have a couple upgrades to jump into Torghast and have a much easier time with it. And also you have some soul ash to be able to craft your legendary really early. Slaying the final boss of a wing of Torghast also have a chance to give you renown, which means you'll basically want to do it as you quest your character towards max level. Where I think they can improve upon is give more experience for slaying mobs in Torghast. It's filled with mobs, and right now in the current state you basically are establishing a meta where you want to ignore all the mobs and skip to the final door boss to get to the next floor to get to the final boss as quickly as you can, because majority of the XP gain you will get from Torghast is from that broker quest for finishing the 2 wings, but the actual time spent inside of Torghast is not that great for your experience overall. By adding some sizable experience to the mobs in Torghast, at least grinding Torghast would be an alternative to doing dungeons. It can be a legitimate way for players to quest if that's how they choose to. Because of all these powers, you can go for really wacky, big AoE builds, so if players want to play a tank and just AoE grind Torghast if they want to, I think it should be an alternative option to how players can play to quest to max level. I mean, already Torghast gives you soul ash, renown, as well as the tower knowledge, which all these things will be helpful once your character hits max level, but would it hurt if this place just dropped more experience? Would it hurt that since this place is going to be basically mandatory, that it just was a lot more rewarding? Maybe, what if it gave you more experience for clearing the full room? Maybe you got more XP for dodging every single trap. Maybe you got more XP for being able to chain elites from one to the next, or being able to one-shot the final boss in a single blow. I think it'd be awesome. It'd give players a reason to do Torghast. The better they do at it, the more experience they gain. So then different playstyles, different builds, whether it's someone who wants to really try hard in Torghast or just get it out of the way as quickly as they can, both those players can gain benefit. Also, I think they really should add more XP into that daily Torghast quest. I love the idea of a daily activity for you to do, and Torghast is kind of sort of rewarding with soul ash, but also who wouldn't say no to bonus experience? Just like Torghast, they added a bonus objective to Battlegrounds. So every single day you can talk to one of the brokers near the PvP vendors in Oribos, and if you win a Battleground, you also, just like with Torghast, gain bonus experience. This is cool. It gets players maybe more motivated to at least do 1 BG run a day, or at least get 1 win a day on their character when leveling a fresh new alt. This stuff is good. I'm a huge fan of these changes, but on PTR, doing a BG and finding enough people to get into a battleground is very difficult and basically impossible. So it's not really something that they could test feasibly, but I like the idea, and maybe they should add a lot more of these bonus objective things that you can do on alt characters while leveling in Shadowlands, like a bonus dungeon. Anything could be just a bonus daily activity. Overall, the changes to 9.1.5 leveling so far with Threads of Fate are pretty good. The bonus objective change overall is my favorite. Being able to finish them quicker and get better rewards out of them, as well as renown, is going to help catch up your character. I'm a big fan of the daily activities like daily battleground win and daily Torghast. I think more daily content could be added in the future, but all that content can also give you renown as well, which will help out your character towards max level. It looks like a lot of the updates for leveling so far are focused on trying to get your alts caught up in renown to that of your main character. By the time I was done with all the extra activities, I'm sitting at about 20-ish renown right now, which is quite considerable, and that means that's less renown for me to grind once that character is max level. Some of the suggestions I have is potentially have Blizzard take a look at the world content a bit more. With the bonus objective change, world quests and side quests just don't feel nearly as good, so maybe turn up the XP rates on those, I think would feel pretty fantastic overall. The daily activities of Battlegrounds and your Torghast, I think if the rates on the daily activity for that was turned up as well. I don't think anyone would say no to a daily activity giving you a lot more experience. It'll be great for players that have a lot of time to grind a character to max level, but also it'll be great for players who don't have the time either. And some of the other suggestions that I have for activities they could add as part of large XP gains. Callings. Callings is usually something you do at a max level, but what if they were repurposed for lower level characters? I'm a huge fan of the Torghast daily content, as well as the idea behind Battleground daily that rewards you experience, as well as other resources. So what if callings were incorporated to work for lower level characters, just like those daily activities do? Because callings are already daily. Another benefit to doing callings on an alt character is world quests. Right now, they don't really feel like they're really worth the effort. But if you did a couple world quests in order to gain huge XP gains from a calling, I'd be more inclined to want to do world quests in the different regions and zones. Another suggestion I have is to simply just add more dungeons in the dungeon list rotation. Right now in Shadowlands, when you're leveling from 50 to 60, you only have access to 4 dungeons. But what if you had access to all 8, or maybe even broken up Tezavesh normal mode in the first half and the last half? More dungeons for players to run through while you're questing, I think would be fantastic when it comes to XP gains and just seeing a little bit more variety of the dungeon content. I really hope that they walk away and kind of stray away from just spamming dungeons being the best for XP gains. So adding the daily content and front loading a lot of the XP for those, I think would fix that. But if a player wants to grind dungeons, maybe they should add more on the list, so then you're not really seeing the same instances over and over. Besides my suggestions, I do think the changes they've done in the Threads of Fate is better for any of the alts that are looking to catch up to the mains. And it does slightly increase the experience gains in the Shadowlands content. Shadowlands leveling has been pretty quick in comparison to some of the other expansions, but making it even quicker, I don't think anyone would say no to. Especially if they want to make this expansion and this patch even more alt friendly, adding faster ways for us to get alts to max level would help in that regard. Thank you guys so much for checking out this video though. Let me know what you think about the questing in Shadowlands PTR so far. I'm looking forward to some of the different updates they do because this is the very first build, and I wonder what it will look like by the release of 9.1.5. Thank you so much for watching. I do hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know your thoughts, and I'll see all of you in the next one.